I call this meeting back to order. All right. Let's leave this on there. Okay, first thing, guys, we have some students we want to recognize. Had a lot of success in our powerlifting program, and Coach Rude is going to bring some students in. Do you have anything you want to say?
You want to say something first, Coach Rude, about your year or season?
It was a good year, obviously, ended with the results we wanted.
Yeah.
Really proud of those kids. They busted their tails since November. 6 a.m. and after school. It's tough on them, especially because most of them are in other sports. But they busted their tail and they achieved the ultimate goal.
Absolutely, state championship.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to say something because he's not saying something either that I saw or read somewhere. I think you were 4A state coach of the year.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, are they ready to come now?
Yeah, so he just started.
Okay, and we're supposedly in order here, so we'll see. We have Celine Nyman.
Celine Nyman.
Come on this way, hon.
Good job.
Congratulations.
State champions.
Allison Ortiz.
Another state champion.
State champion. Yeah. Congratulations.
Itzel Cigaroa. That didn't work.
Third state champion.
Oh, another state champion?
Yes, there's 4 of them.
Wow. Congratulations. Wow. Don't break my hand there. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Andrea Fabella.
She's playing softball right now.
She's not here.
But she's the other state champion. Yep.
Another state champion.
Yes, sir.
Alejandra Salas.
This was second place, state runner-up to Itzel. Some teammates.
Good job, young lady.
Lupita Ramirez.
This was third place finish in state.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Look this way so we can see you.
Yeah. The camera's over there. There you go. Good job.
Dalia Becerril.
She is also playing softball right now.
Softball.
She was 5th place in state.
Carolina Holguin.
Hang on, look that way. There you go. Congratulations.
Melissa Ramos.
There you go. Even though you covered up.
Evelyn Becerril.
Got to watch it on Facebook Live later.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh.
There we go. See that camera up there?
No, I didn't see it. Sorry.
Vanessa Chavira.
She's playing softball. Oh no,
She's here.
she's just freshman. And she qualified for state.
Wow.
I'm gonna have my mom for you. Thanks, Amy.
Abby Vargas.
Harvest. Congratulations. Good job. She's trying to get out of here.
Isabel Navarrete.
Wow, there's a lot. Wow.
14 for
Thank
state.
you.
And then went to regional? Is this everybody went to regional?
This is state.
Just state.
Brianna Cortez.
I think she was at work tonight.
Ingrid Ars.
These are regional qualifiers.
These are regional qualifiers?
Yes.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Better way to get for a second.
Love the picture.
Cheyenne Buck.
Buck!
Buck! Is she here? There you go. Must have been busy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Better way to get for a second. There you go.
Maria Francia.
This way. The other way you're going to my office, that's not good.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Nubia Gonzalez.
Nubia?
Not lined up in order, I think. Not here. All right.
Samantha Laughlin.
Bring back memories. Look that way faster.
Aliyah Valenzuela.
She's playing softball.
No, this way.
This way.
One going off.
Softball.
She's playing softball.
There you go.
There we go. Marisol Ramirez.
How many girls do you have out for?
36.
So just about all.
Yes.
This way, this way. You want to be on TV, don't you?
Yuri Rodriguez.
Congratulations. It's okay. Let that in real quick.
Daniela Salcedo.
Congratulations.
Jackie Ramirez.
Oh, wait a minute. We wouldn't have Congratulations.
Thank you.
That'll be good. There you go.
Katie Thomas.
She's playing softball.
Aramzi Martinez.
Congratulations.
Adamaris Banos. Diana Jimenez. Karime Rojo.
Freeman. You. You.
That's your name. You were visiting.
Sabrina Olvera.
She's not.
Sable Ortiz. Fatima Estrada. Maya Valenzuela.
She's playing softball.
Genesis Mendoza.
Congratulations. So your parents will know who.
Christian Laha. Christian Laha.
He's coming.
There you go.
And he lives Saturday for chance.
That's state.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Good luck, man. There you go.
Daniel Alvidrez.
He's also lifting Saturday.
Good job. Good luck. Yeah. He did a good job with the
Yeah.
camera.
Alonzo Tarango.
Good job.
Jonathan Bessaril. He's not here this
Johnson.
He's playing baseball.
Okay, baseball.
Isaac Castro. Cesar Ramirez. Junior Torres.
There you go.
Jaden Rodriguez. Jesus Vega.
He's playing baseball.
Israel Loma. Uriel Avia.
There you go.
Damian Gonzalez. Gianni Escobar. Got 2 certificates, and I see 2 kids. So we got them all here. Brian Chacon. And Juan Alvarez. Uh-oh. Okay, no, he's got one.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
Thank you, Coach.
Great job, guys.
I'm picturing other schools when they see the Perryton bus come in, it's like that.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, I mean, they won state, but I think they won by quite a bit. I mean, it wasn't even close. It's going to be a little quieter out there now. I think we got one at play.
And we have
Okay.
other names to read off as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope.
No, first page on your book.
Oh. But they're not here. But
No,
we
they're
want
not
to
here.
recognize them in the.
I think we needed to try something else, and I talked to Maribel today. We're always going to invite them here, and then that coach can determine or not whether or not they want to come.
Okay.
And then we'll put it on them, because not everybody knew that, because we had some girls that I wish would have came, but got
Okay.
away with it.
We have other students that we'd also like to recognize that I don't believe are here tonight, but we'd like to recognize them anyway. Starting out, PHS One Act Play. One Act Play was awarded the alternate play at District One Act Play Contest on March 6, 2021. All-Star Cast, Jacob Schallenberger. Honorable Mention, Brayley Brown and Caleb Jones. Best Lighting, Marshall Attaway. Best Crew, Landry Lane, Karen Sanchez, Marshall Attaway, and Destiny Munoz. PHS Girls Basketball. We had several young ladies make Academic All-District. On the Academic All-District team is Haley Farney, Erin Merkel, Mackenzie Stokes, Tanya Navarrete, Samantha Ramirez, Giselle Hernandez, Johanna Perez, Paolo Uribe, Morgan Bela, Haley Lingo, and Molly McGoy. Co-Newcomer of the Year, Erin Merkel. Honorable Mention, I'm assuming all district, Tanya Navarrete and Tori Rivera. TABC TGCA Academic All-State, Johanna Perez and Morgan Vela.
They were also all district. It's not on there, but they were all district.
Okay, all right. Well, congratulations there. Lots of success in basketball. And on to PHS Art. Visual Arts Scholastic, Scholastic Event, I think.
Yeah.
State qualifiers. Photography 1. Genesis Mendoza, Hallie Pingleton, Rosa Rodriguez, Jennifer Castro. PHS Choir, UIL District Vocal, Solo, and Ensemble ratings. Grade 1 Solo at State Quarterfinals. Louis Assad, Abigail Baker, William Baker, Brody Bigham, Sophie Daniel, Cade Gilbert, Manuel Granillo, Kaylee Carr, Cassie Lenderos, Giovanna Macias, Tanya Navarrete, Pablo Perez, Elisa Rutz, Jacob Schallenberger, Cadence Scott. Grade 1 Ensemble State Qualifiers. Louis Assad, Jocelyn Medina, Ali Ortiz, Pablo Perez, Elisa Rutz, Jacob Schallenberger, Cadence Scott, Vance Villarreal. Grade 3 Solo Superior Rating. Carol Bessarel, Damian Chavez, Caleb Jones, Evelyn Ontiveros, Miles Skipper. Grade 2 Solo Superior Rating. Jennifer Castillo, Rebecca Cavazos, Tiana Hill, Analia Loera, Edwin Ochoa, Maddie Chickendance, Kenya Valenzuela. Grade 3 Ensemble Superior Rating. Elias Bessarel, Damian Chavez, Evan Hernandez, Caleb Jones, Edwin Ochoa, Jarrett Rowland, Miles Skipper. And then the powerlifting, we've already recognized with the certificates. All right, a lot of good things going on at PISD. And our kids have represented us well. Okay, now on superintendent's report, we have vision statement. Mr. Morales?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you, we did that work on that one special board meeting on our vision. We're probably more than halfway through it, but we need to finish it. Because what we want to do is once we finish this vision statement, we want to send it off to the rest of our staff to look at it and buy into it and, you know, get situated in it. So we probably need to schedule another meeting sometime. So wondering when you need to do it. And Dr. Rock, we probably need to do this pretty quick or not?
Just based on the availability of the school board members.
Okay. So how is everybody on next Wednesday?
Talking a lunch meeting?
Or we can do a lunch meeting. I think we can maybe do this in an hour. Not sure.
Get my calendar up.
Yeah.
Wednesday nights are not good for me.
Okay.
Wednesday nights are tough.
Okay, so let's go Wednesday lunch meeting maybe?
I've got a 10 to noon, so I'll be like 12:05, but I can be here.
Bet you can be here. Okay.
The 31st should be fine.
Yeah, 31st, lunch. I just think we need to get this out, you know, to our school, because I'd like to get this done before the end of
And
the
it's
year.
just vision is all we'll be
Well, it's
doing?
vision, mission, and I'm, you know, we did a lot of work last time, so I don't, well, who came up with some slogans?
I think that's what where we were at, was kind of come back with something, right?
Okay, right.
Right.
So hopefully y'all have some. But I'll have some stuff to kind of guide you on that so that we can move a little faster since we're only gonna have an hour.
Sounds good.
Sounds good?
Yep.
Okay, Wednesday, the 31st, 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Vision statement. Vision and mission statement.
Okay. All right. On to campus reports. Perryton High School. Mr. Sproul, do you have anything to add to your report?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of great things that have happened and continue to happen for the rest of the school year. And I know that we'll probably come out of mass on Monday, hopefully. But I just want to, again, I know I said this already, but how awesome the kids have done this year wearing the mask. And they have set a great example for each other and the staff. Because they wanted to stay in school. And I'm very proud of our staff and our students and our school board and our community for, we haven't, knock on wood, missed a day due to COVID this school year. And we haven't had a case in several weeks. So I'm really happy officer to be able to report that.
Right. All right, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Sproul? Okay. Lady Pena Martin?
There she is.
Nothing to add? All righty. Okay, any questions? Thank you, Miss Wilson. Perryton Junior High, is Mr. Garcia here?
He's not here. He had a family
Okay.
deal he
I
couldn't.
do have one question on his report that you might be able.
Yeah.
There on the bottom, the halo sensor. What all does it do? That just sounds intriguing.
I'm not sure. Somebody, I believe, donated that to us or gave it to us. Rodney, do you have an answer for that?
I don't know who donated this, but somebody local donated it,
Yeah.
It was Frank Phillips.
Yeah, Frank Phillips. That's who it was.
and it's a vape sensor.
Well, it talks in here about, THC, vapes, CO2, accounts for decibel levels, including certain keywords or phrases. That was what intrigued me,
As if there's a microphone.
as if there's a microphone that
I know that it
is
senses-
analyzing keywords.
I know that it senses loud noises like gunshot going on.
Right.
I just
This
connected this.
this is the same device that I came to you guys about the possibility of buying a lot of them to put in our, and it was cost prohibitive at the time, so the cost hasn't changed except for the one we got for free.
Right.
But I don't know how it can recognize key phrases.
Yeah,
I don't.
like I said, I read that in the report, I thought, I'm gonna have to ask about that one.
Decibel level is all that I've ever understood that it does, is, registers high decibel levels.
Okay.
And therefore can tell that there's a fight going on, or potentially a fight.
Right. Anytime somebody says University of Kansas or something like that.
But, and it is time-stamped, so that you can connect that back to the video of someone coming out of said bathroom and correspond.
It's really neat. Like you can have it send you a text right then. You can, or however many people want it. Super customizable.
Right.
So we put these in the restroom? Is that where we put
There's
it?
one in one restroom.
Okay. So if a kid goes in there and vapes, then it'll pick that up and send an alarm and let people know that they're vaping?
Or, like you said, fights and other loud commotion, it can alarm for that stuff. That's probably going to be more what it's successful at, but the vaping is also a possibility there.
Okay.
And it gives us a chance, thanks to Frank Phillips, for us to try before we buy something that has a pretty good price tag.
See if it works. Good deal.
Okay.
Cool, thank you.
All right. Wright Elementary. Ms. Beats here.
At the track meet.
Track.
Perryton Kinder.
Track meet.
Excuse me, guys. Okay, Mr. Cates. All right, Mr. Cates, anything, Dad?
It's all good at Williams.
All right. Maintenance, Mr. Kemp, do you have anything to add to your report? Any questions for Mr. Kemp?
That abatement, asbestos abatement that you're looking at, is that quite a big area that you're needing to do, or?
In the process of getting prices now, so I'm hoping that we can maybe do a complete clean and right. Get some of that old 9x9 tile and the carpet squares that are in there that are glued down to that tile. That's the main reason. The carpet is terrible in the square, but it's all glued to the asbestos tile, so that's why it has to be abated.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to, there again, depends on when the prices come out as to how much we get done. I'd like to get some done in City Hall at high school. We started, did some rebuilding 3 or 4 years ago, with some stuff that just had to be done. Just kind of like to keep niching away at this stuff till we can get rid of it.
We've been doing some each summer out of budget, basically, depending on the process.
Okay. All right. Perryton Food Service, Ms. Walker. anything?
We had a little waiver to make sure we were good on all our waivers and everything. We had a couple of things that we changed, but we were good on all that. I until after summer school. And then we probably will have the waiver until September 30th, and at that time we'll change it at the beginning of school again. And we just wanted to say, we do appreciate y'all. We knew there was lots of things happening on the Board Appreciation Day, and so we brought you the cinnamon rolls, and we do thank you for the job you did.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for the cinnamon rolls.
You bet. Okay, Ranger Roundup.
I just want to give one update. She does have 7 on a waiting list. So I believe 4 are for infants. So she would be moving next into opening up another classroom for the infants.
Correct.
Would that be adding another staff person?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Infants are 4 to 1. That's the ratio.
Yeah, that's
4
the
students
one-
to
the-
1 staff member.
But we're getting more and more kids
That's correct.
every day.
All right. Well, moving up. That's good. Any other questions?
Let me say something, because of the issues that we've had with that in the cost. I was at Rotary, they did a presentation at Rotary, just to inform the public about Ranger Roundup, and then Darren has gone over and shot a video of it. I do have them scheduled to do Lions Club next Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have the video ready, and that way we can explain to the public, what it really looks like, what's happening there, and because all they're hearing is the cost. So we're trying to fix that.
Okay. Well, good deal. Okay, technology report. Mr. Throgmorton? Anything to add to your report?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Throgmorton?
Are these interactive displays that, is it something that we had purchased a while back? I'm probably a little behind the 8 ball on that. Is that something?
They haven't been in a month, maybe.
It came out of our first ESSER grant, didn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's part of the first, yes.
We had a grant, and we're getting a lot of them. Really, if you all are interested, if you'll come see me, these are neat things. If you'll come see me, I'll take you over to the building, and we'll watch them actually teach using one, and it's amazing. And it's really re-energized some of our teachers that were using other things. So it's newest things out, and we got a lot of them, and some of them are too heavy to be hung on walls. So we've kind of rigged up some ways to make stands to push them around so they don't pull our walls down. But
As soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna go back to the welding shop and do some more welding on our first one. That gotta get Alan's approval, but they make a cart for it.
for $1,000.
Yeah, and lots of people make carts for them, but they still have to go through a door, so they can't be more than 32 inches wide, and you got 250 pounds with the center of gravity like 6 feet off the ground. That just seems like if you bump the thing, then you're out several $1,000s of display. And so we kind of come up with a plan that all the weight will be supported on the ground, and then tie into the just kind of bolt it to the red iron above the ceiling tiles, so then we don't touch the wall.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Throgmorton. On to communications and safety. Mr. Clark, do you have anything to add to your report?
Well, there's one thing I might subtract from the report. In
Okay.
safety, I started out talking about some potential changes to the CDC's designations of close contact and the possibility of reducing the amount that children have to be apart. That's only under some very special circumstances after I read the rest of the 18 pages. And so it really won't apply,
Okay.
except in very rare cases.
Okay.
But other than that, nothing extra.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Clark?
Let me add something to that, because
Okay.
I'm looking at the ALICE training. If you didn't see, we did ALICE training for the high school. Our whole staff of high school got retrained. I was in on some of that training, so that I'm there too. Again, this is part of our safety that we're doing. And then also we did talk to Mr. Sproul about those doors, and because y'all asked me about this last time, the doors and the swipe cards, and we're on that, just to let you know, because we spent all that money.
On to curriculum and instruction reports. Dr. Rock, anything to add to your report?
I'll just be going over the House Bill 3 progress monitoring for Perryton Kinder for both pre-K and for kindergarten. So if we're ready to start, if you will pull out your reports, they should have been in your areas. I'm going to start out with kindergarten, and we have 4 reports to go through today. I'm going to start with pre-K. So the goal that was approved by the board back in December was the percentage of pre-K students that score on grade level or above in reading. Their assessment is the Circle CLI, and we expect them to increase from 40% to 60% by June 2024. We are reporting the overall evaluation. They are on track, so I'm going to go over the data here. The same goal is repeated on that next section. And if you look at the BOY is the beginning of the year, and we've indicated the students that were assessed in English with the blue line and the students assessed in the bilingual class with the orange line. Our target was 46 for the year 2021, so 46% of the students are expected to be on level by the end of the year. That is the gray line that is across that chart. So looking at the beginning of the year for English, they were at 42, which is below that target. It is beginning of the year. Whereas pre-K bilingual was at 65%, so they were above the target already. For middle of the year, they just completed the middle of the year. The English was at 57 and the bilingual was at 79, well above the target and showing great growth, and we anticipate the continued growth through the end of the year. So they are on track. Going on to the math. The percent of pre-K students that score on grade level in math on the Circle CLI will increase from 44% to 60%. For 2021, our target was 50%, and that is the gray line on the chart. I followed the same process for English pre-K. We started out at 78% being on level, which is amazing for beginning of the year pre-K students. And then the bilingual class was at 82%. For middle of the year, we did see a decline for the English to 68, and we are looking at researching this and trying to figure out why there was that 10-point decline from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year. For the bilingual, we have students that are at 100% on level already, so that trend is just amazing to see that, given that this is the first year that we started the bilingual program. So we are on track for pre-K. The next one is kindergarten. For the reading, we expect them to be increasing from 40% to 60% by June 2024. Their assessment is the Texas KIA, and we started out at 68% for the English for the beginning of the year, and the bilingual also started at 68%. Our target was 46, so we are well above the target already. For middle of the year, not sure why we saw a decline, but the English was at 63 and the bilingual was at 46. I did want to explain a little bit about the bilingual, given that last year the majority of the students participated in pre-K in English, and then they started the bilingual in Spanish this year. So there may be a decline because they've started their foundation in English and pre-K, and then they're having to relearn some of the concepts in Spanish. So we believe that may be some of the concerns on this decline on that trend line. So that is the reading for kindergarten. And then looking at the math, for math, they're expected to be on grade level by the end of the year, and we would like to see the increase from 44% to 60% by August 2024. Our target for 2021 is 50, which is indicated on the target line in gray. And when we approved the goals in December, they were not assessing for the math. So once we knew that we needed to have the progress measure for math, they added the middle of the year assessment. So that's why you will not see any data for beginning of the year for kindergarten math. So the middle of the year, the English was at 68% and the bilingual was at 60%. which indicates that we are well above target. So they are also on track. Any questions?
So why do you think the bilingual is ahead?
This for pre-K? So for pre-K, this is their first experience in school, and they are being able to build on the language, the experiences that they're coming in with. So I believe that that's probably why they're on target. They're able to connect with the teacher in both languages.
I mean, I just thought that was odd when I saw that. How's a bilingual kid doing better than a kid that speaks English?
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's promising.
It is,
promising.
yes.
Very promising as we move forward with our bilingual program. Okay, any other questions for Dr. Rock? CFO's report. Doug, you've had to wait a while tonight.
What now?
I said you've had to wait a while tonight.
No, that's okay. That's no problem.
All right.
First is our disbursements report. There's several sections of that. The first is a pending, checks pending for March, and a couple of pages of those. And then on page 1920, it starts a section for the checks paid March to date, and these were run as of March the 11th, which is when we cut off before spring break. So those are there. And then the complete disbursements list for the month of February is on page 29, and there's 24 pages that are those. So, next on page 53, 54 starts our financial report. Our cash position by bank account, the summary page there, at totals of 149,000 there. And then in the general fund on page 55, our reconciled balance of 57,810.53, broker accounts of 24,1, and CDs of 11,265,000. And the schedule of those CDs is there on page 56. Interest and sinking funds of 925,543.77 include CDs of 925,543. Schedule of those CDs is on page 58. Cafeteria funds of 32,786.99. Special education funds of 160,559. Oh, 10,559 and CDs of 150,000. Total of 160,559. Activity accounts of 42,009 and CDs of 335,992.60. Schedule of those is on page 63. Ranger Roundup Daycare, $6,315 there. Capital Projects Fund of 81,117.10, which that CD matures on March 31st, and we'll add the appropriation for the new year of 40,000 and renew that altogether on the 31st. And we'll have that fund just sort of keeps building up for down the road.
Absolutely.
Our financial statements start on page 67. This is six months of operations from September through February. Revenues, grand total of $13,770,000. Expenditures of $11,314,000. And including in that is a number you see going across the page here on capital outlay, $115,974. And the schedule of those, that page, those is on page 68. You can see the details of those. And the financial statement format again, $22,127,000 is our estimated revenue that we adopted our budget on, and we realized $13,770,000, which is 62.23%. Expenditures, 22,157,000, and we, year-to-date expenditures 11 million, which is 51.07%. Food service revenues of 418,473, expenditures of 585,924. Debt service fund revenues of $1,068,983, expenditures of $314,352. Capital projects, no transactions yet. Ranger Roundup revenues of $145,000, expenditures of $239,000. I'm giving you the detail of our revenues on page 52. And from the financial statement, and then a recap of them on 83, and the expenditures of 239,094, and a detail, like I always give you on that, on page 85. Last but not least is our enrollment report, which shows total students as of in March of that would be 2,075, right? And compared to a year ago of 2,198. Compared to opening day this year of 2,105. Any questions?
Any questions for Doug? All right, thank you, Mr. Call.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Consent agenda items. I have minutes from 2 meetings last month. This time I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last 2 meetings last month as presented.
Motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for the prior meetings. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Moving on to budget amendments. Mr. Morales?
Yeah, I think Doug has worked on this. This is the bus, isn't it, Doug? For
Yeah,
the
this
special ed?
is for the special education bus conversion that y'all approved at last meeting.
Last meeting.
And, approved a $30,000 budget amendment. I had to post the budget amendment to be able to issue a purchase order for them. So that's incorporated in the financial statements, but the formality of approving the budget amendment is today. And the quotes that we approved on are included in the copy there for your use to.
Okay.
It's adding 4 stations, 4-wheel steer lift stations, and then an air conditioning conversion or system to add to an existing. It's our newest bus there, so that bus is in great shape. And they took the bus down to before spring break. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday before we left for spring break. They were already taking it down to Fort Worth, and we started working on that.
Okay. Now we approved the purchase, and now we need to approve the budget amendment. Budget amendment number 1, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You sort of did it with the approval of expenditure, but this is just sort of
Okay.
tightening up a loose end, dotting the I and crossing the T, so to speak.
Okay. All right, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve budget amendment number 1 for the expenses on converting the school bus.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving budget amendment number 1? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, discussion and/or action items. We have recommendation of term and dual term contracts for teachers, counselors, librarians, and nurses. Mr. Morales, do you have a recommendation?
Yeah, I recommend that the board approve renewing the first list of term and dual contracts for the 2021-2022 school year.
Okay. And at what time will this list be available?
It will be on there tomorrow. Is that right, Darren? On our
We
website?
posted on this Facebook Live seconds after y'all approve it.
Okay. So this will be available to the public almost immediately, correct? And that will prevent us from having to read
All the names.
hundreds of names. So, I have a recommendation to approve the dual term contracts for teachers, counselors, librarians, and nurses. I'd entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation of dual term contracts for teachers, counselors, librarians, and nurses as presented to us on a list. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, next, I have a consideration and possible action on missed school day waiver for February 18th and 19th. Mr. Morales?
Yes, in order for this to happen, we also had to take this to our results-driven accountability group, and they had to know that we were going to do this waiver. And so we met with them Tuesday, and they approved it. So now I need the board to approve it before we can actually go to TEA and say we want that waiver for those days.
Okay.
So I recommend that the board approve the missed day waiver for February 18th and February 19th.
Okay, and I noticed you included your letters for the
Yeah.
recommendation from Excel Energy, and
I think that's going to be very important to the state actually giving us
absolutely.
credit for that, because we have documentation that it's actually asking Perryton ISD, not a general one. The other ones are kind of general Excel stuff, but yeah, we actually have the letter asking us.
I'm gonna be the one on the other side on this.
Okay.
Wouldn't 2 days of instruction by utilizing the snow days we've already written into the calendar be more valuable to the students than simply signing a waiver and giving up instruction for those 2 days?
Yeah, except for the example, I mean, we had the blizzard the other day, and I keep telling people we can still have snowstorms in the Panhandle of Texas.
Sure, but
And
it's
I
the
want
25th of March.
I know,
We're
but
getting-
I'm still scared. I'm still scared that we may have to use those days, so I don't want to use them just in case. That's my only thinking on that is, okay, yeah, I agree with you, we probably would have, and I can tell you that most people that are asking for this waiver, they're asking for 4 days. Because a lot of schools just shut down, if you remember when they asked them to do that. We hung on as long as we could until we had that letter from them, so, yeah, I mean, that's a good question, you know, whether or not we would have been better to do that, but I'm still a little scared of snow until.
Well, it's just not snow, we could do it. Where my daughter's teaching in Tennessee, they shut down schools today for tornado warnings.
Yeah, that took bad.
So
tornadoes.
that could very well hit us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things, but yeah, that was my only concern on that.
Okay. All right. And you have a recommendation, Mr. Morales?
Yes,
Okay.
I recommend that we approve the missed school day waiver for February 18th and February 19th.
A motion? Got a motion and a second to approve the missed school day waiver for February 18th and February 19th. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-1. Okay. Consideration and possible action on resolution regarding wage payments during emergency school closure due to adverse weather and power outages. Mr. Morales.
Okay, Fred helped with this one, so I'm going to read it. The recommendation that the board adopt a resolution regarding wage payments during emergency school closing in accordance to the policy DEA as presented to and to pay employees their normal rate of pay for the time unable to work during an emergency school closures, and authorize the superintendent to take such actions as necessary to assure public purpose is fulfilled for which payments are authorized. In other words, you weren't at work, but we're still going to pay you. We have to be able to pay you, and this is the thing that allows us to do that.
Okay. This time I'd entertain a motion to approve Mr. Morales' recommendation on the resolution regarding wage payments during emergency school closure due to adverse weather and power outages.
So moved.
Got a motion?
You had a question.
Oh, I was going to get to that further discussion.
He'll get to discuss one.
Do I have a second? Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
How many non-exempt employees worked during those days?
Non-exempt?
Hourly employees?
Well,
Because Alan had said something last month when I was.
there were several. I was
There
still
were
here.
still some working.
Yeah, I was still here. I think
No,
most.
not salary,
Okay.
hourly people.
I don't
This
think
is all we're talking about is hourly.
your
people.
maintenance people. How were your did they work those days or not? Okay, then we missed. I'm just gonna say I messed up here, guys, because the only way that we could do that, it would have been premium paid to be able to pay the people that did work those days.
Mhm.
And
Because
this resolution.
in the
doesn't say
resolution, it says, "and."
Yeah.
And those who work during there, so are those that worked getting,
They're not getting premium pay.
they're getting plain pay, the ones that didn't work are getting
Getting
regular
paid,
pay.
right.
So how is that fair to those that worked?
It
If those that didn't still get exactly the same for not coming to
Right.
work?
Yeah, it's probably not, but he did ask me about that, and I was thinking of myself, thinking I was gonna work it no matter what, and I wasn't thinking of
Do
maintenance.
we know what the cost is for these particular payments netted against the energy costs that we saved by having the building closed down?
No.
Because there would be a net cost to the, be
Yeah.
a net cost, but it wouldn't be a full cost of salary, because we supposedly should have a net cost of savings
Mhm.
unless Excel jabs us
You know,
on
and
rate.
as far as premium pay and everything, I believe I would be more concerned in protecting the wages of the people who missed work due to no fault of their own, as opposed to paying a premium
Well, I
to the
am-
people who came to work that day and did their job.
I'm concerned about that as well. I'm just concerned about this resolution on the way that it's written. What does it set us up for in the future? What precedent does it set when we closed on day? We have the letter from Excel that says they wanted us to close. It was 25 degrees on Thursday the 18th. It was 44 degrees on the 19th. If Excel is looking to truly save energy on those days, they would have called somebody other than just the school district. They never called Equity to shut down elevators. They never called Cotton Gins to shut them down. So why did they set that up? Well, what are we opening ourselves up for with this resolution?
With this resolution, are we opening ourselves up to anything? Wasn't that a decision that was made a month ago, and now we're just trying to protect the wages of people who missed work through no fault of their own?
It is.
Yeah. And I understand, we questioned whether we should have closed down
slope that
schools.
we're on right here, guys.
Yeah, it is,
And I'm gonna vote for this,
Yeah.
because I think we owe it to the people.
Right.
Through no fault of their own, couldn't go to work. But I wanna caution everybody that going forward, we need to really be careful from an administration standpoint and from a board standpoint, that we don't instantly react to something without thinking of all of the potential pitfalls that are gonna come down the road, and this is a pitfall.
This is a pitfall, but I'm going to tell you, I was probably one of the few superintendents that hung on that long. The other ones were going, if you were watching them wrong, they were going right away, and I'm going, no, there's some other things. And I was sort of like you. We still gotta keep the buildings running. We still gotta keep or we're gonna have pipes frozen
We
everywhere.
didn't save it that much.
Yeah.
Turn them on, what Alan say, we'd turn them on weekend mode, so
Right.
they were at 65 degrees instead of 72.
Yeah, we were one of the last schools that actually shut down, to conserve energy, but I think the biggest thing here, because I wasn't even thinking about this, and then I talked to another superintendent, he says, you really can't pay those people without this resolution, because it's public funds.
Well, I understand it, it keeps us from docking people. It's a legal deal about, if we don't have a legal binding reason to pay people, it's like a gift of funds. No
There you
one's
go.
going to get any extra money for it. They're going to get their regular salary and their regular hours they worked, but it protects us. We don't have to dock them, basically, for those 2 days they didn't miss.
That they didn't work.
That they didn't work, yeah.
But I understand
it's not
I understand what Wes is saying,
any
what about the
more
ones
for
that did work?
salaries than what we have budgeted.
So, maybe next time I talk to Fred on one of these type of deals, I say, yeah, we're gonna pay premium pay for those. Did he show up? I don't know.
Like I said, I'm old get off my lawn guy, but I just think that we've put ourselves on a slippery slope that we need to
Be careful
back
about.
up to the top to make sure we don't, in the future, find ourselves in a situation that we're scrambling at the end to be able to shape things up. I'm not big on virtue signaling, and I think that's what XL was doing.
Okay.
So I'm done.
All righty.
Thank you for the time.
You bet. Okay, did we get a motion and a second on that? We did. That was further discussion. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Consideration and possible action on purchase of a 77-passenger school bus. Mr. Morales.
Okay, I think everybody can see on the next page, it shows you the prices, and these are gas buses, I believe. And Doug can probably help me out on this a little bid too. Did this went through buy board, Doug?
Yes, this is bid through the buy board, so we don't have to go out for bids. And there's a buy board fee that's added to it, but we end up getting, the more we purchase through the buy board, we get a rebate at the end of the year, so we sort of almost get the fee back. It's depending on how their profits are or whatever, based on volume.
And these are gas buses?
Yes, the gasoline engine. It doesn't really spell it out, but a Ford 7.3 liter V8 engine is included in, and the two we looked at last month included Cummins diesel engine, so it's definitely a gasoline engine.
And Mr. Cole, would these bid through buy board? Are there because I know when we purchase something through buy board, we don't have to put it out for bids.
That's right.
So, if we were to seek bids, is there any possibility that we're gonna buy buses cheaper if we're buying new buses? Or would the only way to get anything cheaper be looking into the purchase of used buses?
I think that would probably be it. Mr. Poteet, when he was here, he said some of the schools down south use international buses, and there's a source for those down there. But these are Bluebird buses out of the dealership out of Loveland. It's where we've always
purchased our buses.
Yeah, and the prices, like you see in your memo there, the previous bid, the diesel buses
Right.
are on the brief agenda brief item there for 101, 380 without the AC, and 109, 110. Of course, the gasoline engine buses are a little cheaper. I guess they're lower cost.
Well, I think that was one of the questions is, just my personal opinion on this is, I thought a diesel would be a lot more expensive than a gas. I thought there would be a bigger difference between the diesel and the gas.
There is a difference, but it's not as huge as you'd think.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Why would gasoline bus need a DEF tank?
Where's that?
Both of them have 15-gallon minimum with key locking door DEF tank.
I see that.
What the heck?
Yeah,
I didn't
they
notice-
shouldn't have that.
I didn't notice that looking at this last night.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, yeah.
That's crazy.
And I was thinking, based on our conversation that we had with him last month, that because I asked him directly, and I believe he said that we were looking at maybe $10,000 to $15,000 cheaper possibly for a gas, because we're going from a Cummins inline 6 to a Ford 7.3 V8, which would be gas driven, but
Yeah.
there's only like a $4,000 difference.
Must be a dev tank.
Yeah.
That's an expensive death tank.
Yeah, we're going from 97, 395 without air conditioner compared to 101, 380, which is not a huge, you would have thought it would have been a bigger difference.
Yes, absolutely.
I think if we were going to purchase, it definitely makes sense to purchase the bus with air conditioning. Since the difference is that small.
Yeah. If we want to try to get this bus in this year to have it before the start of school next year, we really need to try to make a decision on that.
What would be the chances of taking a look at perhaps something other than buy board, or seeing if there is some type of a, and I don't know this, and tell me if I'm crazy thinking this, some type of a bus clearinghouse for 2-year-old buses that are out there, something we could discuss on our meeting on the 31st? And still retain 100, if it's 140-day delivery, of course, a used bus already be sitting on a lot, we'd get that next week, but
Yeah.
if it was still 140, you'd still have it prior to next year if we were to talk about next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, we could table it and then do that, put it on the agenda for Wednesday.
I know a while back, I was just browsing on the internet on eBay, and you can buy school buses on eBay, so it depends on
Depends on what you want.
what you want, and and I'm sure there are dealerships, and Ralph used to say there's dealerships where they sell used buses, but 2-year-old buses, low mileage, are probably hard to find.
They'd be unicorns, but
Yeah.
maybe worth looking.
Well,
If we're only gonna save $4,000 between a 6.7 Cummins and a 7.3 V8 gas, perhaps we take a look around and see what might give us an extra $10,000 or $15,000 for something that's decent. Maybe it's not out there, but we still make the decision
Make an attempt,
in
yeah.
6 days.
Yeah.
Give us a chance to look a little bit.
A couple of years ago, we looked, were they refurbed? Is that what they were?
From Huntsville? Is that the?
I think so, yeah. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Was it a couple of years ago we looked at
I
that?
think that's what, the one the prisoners were.
Every year for 4 or 5 years.
He even talked about that briefly at the meeting, didn't he say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked
You know,
about
the
it.
ins-
Savings was much.
The insides of the buses
Yeah,
are
it was-
meticulously, they're great,
Yeah.
but you still, the drivetrain and stuff, you don't know from, he said they've had. hit and
Electrical
miss.
issues was the main concern he had, and I think on those that were completely refurbished inside and out, you're talking about a savings of $35,000, $40,000 a bus. But that was with a new engine, new transmission, everything good, but he said when you had issues, it was
Not
usually in the electrical.
Yeah,
So,
that's what he said,
yeah.
yeah.
So we would probably just get a hold of him again and see if he can find us a used one?
He even talked about, maybe it was when we were visiting with him, about one that they had found. And
Yeah.
I guess another school district gobbled it up too,
Yeah, he told us it wouldn't last long.
They wouldn't, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Longhorn bus sales or something like that, he told something like that.
Be worth the conversation.
Yeah, it'd be worth it, but since the prospects of finding a low mileage, good one for sale available now, to me, is not that good. It's worth looking into. I would definitely be interested in looking at a quote for a new one from the other bus company down south, as opposed to Bluebird. I think that would be a more realistic chance of.
And look at both next Wednesday.
Yes. If we've got a used one, great. We'll jump on it. But I'd love to look at the prices from another company and see, hey, just because these guys are buy board, does that mean that's the best value for our money? And then make our decisions based on that. So let's definitely look at
Okay. So we'll
new
just-
ones and used ones and just see if we have any other options besides Bluebird.
Okay, and we'll put it on the agenda for the 31st,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, because I think the board is for the most part, the way everyone's talked, convinced that we probably need to buy one this year. But we just want to make sure we're getting our best value. All right.
He does.
Consideration and possible action designating a construction delivery method for the district softball field renovation project. Mr. Morales.
Okay, this has been a long process, guys. We've been in and out of this all over the place. I've been with Fred, talking to him several times, and he said, nope, you can't do that, and made it start over again. And this is kind of the resolution that he says that is legal to do what we're wanting to do. And basically, it's a resolution for the delivery method of how the district works on the softball field renovation project. I recommend that the board adopt the resolution as presented to designate the use of a construction manager at risk as a delivery method that provides the best value for the district softball field renovation project.
So move.
Got a motion?
Maybe we can move this forward, my goodness.
Do I have a second? Got a motion and a second to approve the resolution presented to designate the use of a construction manager at risk as the delivery method that provides the best value for district softball field renovation project. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, and on to policy update 116.
Wow. I don't know how many of y'all got a chance to look at all the policies. We all,
Going to a softball game.
Okay.
we all know that the legal, there's nothing we can do about that. You just got to follow the law. That's the new law that's coming in. So you look at the locals. The very first one is this CQB, Technology Resources, Cybersecurity. If you looked at that one, anybody have any questions on that one? If you go back, it gives you an explanation on the next pages of what that is. I know that we got to have a security person that's in charge of all of our cybersecurity stuff, which is Rodney, and then basically making sure that all board members and all staff have been trained on cybersecurity. That's what that one is.
Any big concerns there, guys?
Not till we get to.
Okay. Now we're on to at-will employment.
Yeah, DCD, Local Employment Practices at Will. If you go to that one, again, revisions clarify that an at-will employee appeals a dismissal would allow the district employee grievance policy and not begin with the board. In other words, they go through our whole grievance policy procedures.
Any questions or concerns on the at-will employment? Okay.
Okay, DCE, Local Employment Practice and Other Types of Contracts. That's right underneath that one. Recommended revisions, clarification of an appeal by an employee whose non-Chapter 21 contract is not issued at the end of the contract period would follow the district's employment grievance policy. Again, it gives them the grievance policy. Option or appeal.
Any questions or concerns? Oh, Wes barely hanging on over there.
I know.
Yeah, you know what I'm waiting on, is FFAC. 'cause
I know which one you're going
about
out there. I'm going, I don't know if I got an answer to that.
Yeah.
Wellness and health.
You will be surprised at my complaint on this one.
Okay. For medical treatment, and you'll look at that, that's on page 120. Policy Service recommends several revisions to this local policy on student medical treatment to reflect the current guidance from the Texas Department of State of Health Services and common district practices. And then it goes through all those things there on that. I'll just let you talk about students' illness and accidents recommended for removal, medication provided by parents, directed by the the superintendent's designee authorized to administer the medication. The next one is district's athletic programs administration, unassigned epinephrine shots, and then retain with substantive editing the district's unique provision reflecting the district's purpose of non-prescription medicine to administer to students for prevention and treatment of.
Do you think we are truly, by that wording, we have sustained with non-substantive editing the district's unique provisions? Do you think that we are the only district out of the, how many districts are in the state of Texas?
Oh man, there's over 1,000.
That the district purchases non-prescription medication for delivery to students by approved personnel? Because that's what they're talking about.
That's what they're talking about.
And they're going to keep bringing this thing back every time they review it until we acquiesce to their demands.
Where are you at, Wes? What
This
page?
is on,
It's on page
121.
121.
Clear at the top where it says
It gives you all of them.
bullet point number 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, they're talking about our unique provisions, but here's what drives me nuts about TASB and their legal department that looks through these policies here. If you go to page 128 and look under epinephrine, blue is what they're adding, red is what they're taking out, correct? Okay. We took out, the district authorized, took out school personnel and volunteers and added school personnel and volunteers.
I agree.
Some lawyer at TASB got paid to do that.
Oh yeah.
That's what drives me nuts about these folks.
Yeah.
Is they make changes just to make changes, to throw out another policy update.
I was actually reading over this today because I knew we went through this.
I did too. I looked at that one closer.
Well, no. Last year I thought you had a very, very valid point on it that I felt like Miss Zapien clarified, and I was okay with it afterwards. But
It took some.
But I just
Yeah.
feel that they're going to keep bringing it back up because we're not falling in lockstep with what TASB thinks we need to be doing when it comes to us distributing non-prescription medication to our kids when needed. We're adults, we can figure it out, is my opinion of it. But they're going to keep bringing it back. TASB update number 117 is going to have the same thing. I guarantee it. So, rant over. I will vote to approve. Update 116.
okay. All right.
TASB's watching on Facebook.
Yeah.
Way better.
And then on to community relations conduct on school premises.
Yeah, recommended revision specifies that a person filing a complaint against refusal to entry to an ejection from property based on Education Code 37.105 shall be permitted to address the board within 90 calendar days. I'm really thinking this is probably one dealing with basketball maybe, or some of the deals where you eject a person. Okay, then they can come back and within 90 calendar days and address the board on it.
Okay. Any questions or concerns on that? Okay. All right. Do you have a recommendation?
Yeah, if the board agrees to the revisions made to the local policies above, I recommend that the board approve adopting policy update 116 as presented by TASB.
Okay. This time I'd entertain a motion that the board approve adopting policy update 116 as presented by TASB along with the revisions made to local policies.
Motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Next, we have set date for April regular board meeting.
Am I looking at the calendar?
I'll be on vacation the 11th through the 17th. But Get 4 weeks a year, brother. You better use them. Use them or you lose them.
So what would be our regular date, the 20th?
So it would be the 20th, yes.
If everybody had that, and we can move it however we need to move it. Is there baseball and softball on the 20th?
That night. I don't know if we'll be done by then. I'm only using it Tuesday and Fridays, I think.
So we still better stay on the Thursday then?
Probably so, because
That
I was
22nd?
disappointed, missed opening district game
Mhm.
tonight, because since it got moved from Tuesday to here.
Yeah.
22nd?
22nd.
That's Earth Day. I'm celebrating Earth Day.
I thought he was gonna say something like that. Good. Joe?
I don't have anything.
4/22,
22?
April. All right. April 22nd, that's a Thursday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. There's nothing else for the good of this meeting. Meeting adjourned at 8:19.